Hello, my dear colleagues. Today, on the invitation of my dear friend Mar, I would like to share with you some thoughts about women leadership, a matter of power, of just influence. I thought a lot about this topic and got challenged by many findings that I uh, realized during my preparation for this speech. And here I am planning to share with you some of the thoughts. They might be provocative, but I'm really inviting you into conversation. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that this is what came out of the research. First of all, I was interested in the basic definition of what power is all about. We talk so much about it. And in physics, the definition is very simple: rate of doing work. In public, definition addresses something else. It says that the power implies possession of ability to wield force, authority, or influence to mold public opinion, or ability to control people and events. So then I was using this basic definition, was wondering, who are then the women in power? And let's say I was not surprised when I found pretty repetitive list of women of power today in the world. Number one, European Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen, followed by the European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde, followed by a US Vice President Camilla Harris, and then Prime Minister of Italy Giorgia Meloni. I looked at the list and I didn't see the names anymore. I saw structures behind them, those that are putting them forward. I saw corporate influence. I saw not really good results behind these women, but still, they are the women of power. Even if they're not present at all, they are still a women in power, of power. Even if they are exercising some dangerous thoughts of dividing the societies and trying to build on extreme points of view the future of their countries or people. So I wonder, how is that possible? And probably the reason for that is the interest of structures and groups behind it. Then I was wondering, what's the influence then? And again, in physics, it is defined by electrical or magnetic induction. In public, definition of influence in public is the capacity to have an effect on character, development, or behavior of somebody or something. And then some interesting definition also says that sometimes simple changes in business environment can influence the behavior of many. So then I was really curious who today's public space considers as women of influence. And you would see that there is a completely different list than when I presented you the list of women in power. These are makeup artists, singers, songwriters, internet personalities, social media personalities, actresses. On one hand, women of power supported by institutions. On the other hand, women of influence that they create the followers based on their behavior and based on their offerings. Two completely different groups, even though we keep using women of power influence together. And then, of course, the question follows, where are these women of power and influence are leading us? What kind of world do they create? What kind of leadership do they present? And of course, the logical question was, is this all that we have? And then a completely different lists appear. I all of a sudden found a list of Women of Action series, women by World Bank or by United Nations, or top women in sustainability by Reuters, March 8, Sustainability Magazine, 41 famous women in history. And then I also looked at the interviews that the WAH Women portal did, and I see a completely different type of women: entrepreneurs, scientists, politicians, philanthropists, sustainable entrepreneurships, the fighters for rights of people. Vandana Shiva is not listed anywhere else but in this list of women in sustainability, even though she made an enormous changes on the ground, but probably not too favored by structures and is not popular. And that's why nowhere listed as an influencer. And here is a very strong question then. How come that this kind of projects that really make a difference on the ground don't come forward? A good example is also G100 movement, where we have 100 women with 100 projects that make the difference for a better world, that are trying to bring she and he together and trying to really build a new level of consciousness. They're not being recognized, even though they're present in pretty much every country in this world. And of course, logically then, the question is, what kind of leadership is behind the power and influence? And I see all kinds of leadership styles that are being put forward in the social public space as those that people should follow or take on board. And I see that they are all under the industrial impact. So they follow industrial evolution. And then take a look around and see where all these industrial benefits have brought us. I'm not arguing that industrial civilization was only a waste of time. We did discover many very useful things for humanity. But at the same time, we made a huge destruction, not only on the surface of this beautiful planet Earth, but also on a relationship level, deprived us of trust and many other human-related qualities. So the next question would be, how are women positioned in these industrial leadership styles? And I cannot avoid a conclusion that in this domination of the male leadership styles, women who wanted power or influence simply readjusted their behavior because they wanted to fit in. And the results are really not encouraging because, again, I'm inviting you to take a look around. Our planet is crying, it's being devastated, our relationships are being broken, and the only thing we see as a solution is technology, AI, new powerful systems. And we seem to be forgetting that behind technology and behind these powerful AI systems are, again, people who seek power and influence. And there are very small groups that try to keep this world of technology, the world of global communication, open, democratic, and inclusive. So all these challenges, at least in me, create this need to rethink who we are as humans, who we are as a humanity, what is our role. And I do not see as the only role of humanity to populate the universe. I don't have anything against discovering new planets. But if the excuse for that is the destruction of our home planet, then we're in serious trouble, because this will perpetuate to wherever we go. So we are seriously invited today to reinvent not only the leadership style, but to reinvent the way how we relate to each other. Because the Holocene era, which we were part of in the last 10, 12,000 years, that offered us predictability in nature, stability, uh, predictable temperatures, climate, weather, and allow us to really evolve and to reach this high level of diversity. Now, that doesn't hold anymore. This era is over. We're entering a very dynamic, unpredictable, so-called VUCA world. And the only thing we have to rely on is something we neglected completely, which is the quality of relationships, the capacity to co-create, the capacity to engage, the capacity to work together and find solutions that are planetary challenges, that address planetary challenges. The only way we can do that is together, because you never know where the sparkle comes from. So this participatory engagement, co-creation, building trust, hearing each other, and of course, learning how to respect what is inside ourselves and what is around us, offer some new opportunities. So I do believe that there is an era where a new type of leadership will emerge, because the basic elements are already there. Some new views on how to organize ourselves and how to build new value systems is there already. And yes, you can call it female leadership if you want, but it's not just for women. It's the new type of relationship with Mother Earth. I ask myself often, how on earth can we treat something that we call mother so badly? Is this something that we carry on? This unresolved conflicts with our own mothers that allows us to treat everything so badly, that we treat everything that nurtures us, give us life so badly? Can we rethink this relationship? And yes, there are new forms of what we call conscious leadership. IAU leadership is one of those, which brings the qualities of all different continents, the old wisdoms together, and invites us to reinvent our foundations based on which we relate to each other, to challenges, to nature, to our existence. Participatory leadership is also one of, for me, most inspiring types of engagement. All my life, I've been practicing participatory leadership, and it always brings long-lasting, sustainable solutions, even though constantly I've seen other forces try to deny that and try to neglect and push it aside. And here it comes a lesson that I got from the movement that I have a privilege to hold space for and curate together with many colleagues, female and male, global movement called Ecocivilisation, where we are focusing on the emergence, trying to understand what that means. So what is this new era of dynamic conditions, and how can we respond to that? And you see that no one mainstream leadership styles can offer solutions for such a huge challenges that are ahead of us. And through this, I call it responsible stewardship, I learned a lot about how to use intuition better. And I learned a lot about care leadership, that we completely neglected and pushed aside. And those people who care and still try to nurture this precious element of humanity are less valued, not well rewarded, and kept in the shadows. So, yes, today, when we think about power and influence, we need to think more about its consequences, especially long term consequences. And yes, we are invited today at this threshold of changes in the environment that we live on this planet Earth. We are invited to rethink what humanity is all about, how we want to bring it forward. What are the laws of nature that we're invited to live with, respect, and then readjust and develop a proper resilience while nurturing the evolution of humanity. And I'm sure when we put care in the center of it, the answers will come through participatory engagement, participatory co creation, and rethinking of our basic elements that bring forward a quality relationship. So, thank you for this opportunity. And I welcome further discussion on this really important topic.